okay?
Yes, sir.
Excuse me. Welcome to the 186th District Court. Court is in session. This is cause number 2019 CR 11145, State of Texas versus Nathan Daniel Signs. It's Nathan Signs. Nathan Daniel Signs. We're here today for a plea. We're conducting this hearing via video conference using the Zoom application. We're also using YouTube to live stream the proceedings to keep the hearing public. The time now is 12:14 p.m. on the 4th day of August 2021. These proceedings are official, they're on the record, and they're being recorded by the official court reporter. Counsel and all present are instructed to act as though you were in court, and all are instructed not to record the proceedings. And if I could have the attorneys make appearances, starting with the state of Texas, please.
Lindsay Shaw for the state.
Luis Martinez on behalf of Mr. Science.
So are you the same Nathan Signs charged by indictment with burglary of a building? Is that you, sir?
Yes, sir.
I'm going to use a function of Zoom, and I'm going to show you the indictment in this case. I'll scroll through so you can see all of it. But are you familiar with this document, sir?
Yes, sir.
Did you go over this with your attorney?
Yes, sir.
Did you understand it?
Yes, sir.
And Mr. Martinez, do we waive reading of the indictment?
Yes, Judge, we do.
I'm going to get out of share screen, sir. Or rather, I'll note that there is a discovery acknowledgement that's been signed and dated by both sides. I'm doing the same. I'm making it a part of the record. Also note that there's an application for deferred adjudication or community supervision. I'll make that a part of the record as well. So we're going to go back into share screen. I'm going to show you a document called the defendant's consent to plea by video conference. I'm going to scroll down to an electronic signature, and my cursor circling around it. Is this your electronic signature, sir?
Yes, sir.
Signing this document, you're telling me two things. One, you understand that normally we do pleas live in an open court, but that you're consenting to do this plea by video conference. Did you understand that before you sign this?
Yes, sir.
Secondly, your electronic signature here, as well as all of the electronic signatures of yours in the plea packet in front of me today, you're telling me that those are valid as if you personally signed them. Did you understand that when you signed this form?
Yes, sir.
I approve the consent. I make it a part of the record. We are still in share screen, but now I'm showing you a document called the court's admonishments. I'll scroll through because it's several pages. Are you familiar with this document, sir?
Yes, sir.
Did you go over this with your attorney?
Yes, sir.
Did you understand it?
Yes, sir.
At the bottom of page 3 is an electronic signature. I'm using my cursor to circle around. Is this yours?
Yes, sir.
You get out of share screen. Rather, I said the bottom of page 3. It's really the bottom of page 4 is where the signature is. I'm going to get out of share screen. Sir, by signing the court's admonishments, you are telling me that you understand the court's admonishments. You understand the rights that are contained within it. Is that true?
Yes, sir.
And that you want to give up those rights. Is that true?
Yes, sir.
And the rights you're giving up is the right to a trial by jury. You have a right to confront the witnesses against you. You also have the right to remain silent, which includes the right not to incriminate yourself and not plead today. Did you understand that before you signed this?
Yes, sir.
By signing this, you're also telling me you understand the consequences of a plea and the sentencing range for the offense, which is anywhere from 180 days to 2 years in the state jail and up to a $10,000 fine. Did you understand that before you signed this?
Yes, sir.
I approve the waivers that are contained within the court's admonishments. Rather, before I do that, you've applied for deferred adjudication, sir, and there are risks and benefits associated with that. The benefits are, as if it's granted, then you will not be found guilty of the offense, and instead you'll be placed on community supervision, which if you're successful with that, the case is dismissed. The risks are, if you're not successful, you could be revoked, and if you are revoked, then you would be found guilty of the offense on that day, and you're subject to the full sentencing range it just announced. Did you understand that before you applied for deferred adjudication?
Yes, sir.
And do you still wish to apply?
Yes, sir.
I approve the waivers that are contained within the court's admonishments. I make them a part of the record. Sir, we're going to go into share screen. I'm going to show you the plea bargain in your case. Are you familiar with this document?
Yes, sir.
Did you go over this with your attorney?
Yes, sir.
Did you understand it?
Yes, sir.
There's electronic signature to the left. I'm using my cursor to circle around. There's another one to my right. I'm using my cursor to circle around. Are these your two signatures?
Yes, sir.
This document details for me your agreement with the state as far as punishment is concerned, and I will let you know if I'm going to follow this prior to the entry of your plea. There'll be a $1,500 fine. State is recommending deferred adjudication. Taken in consideration for dismissal, 1, 2, 3, 4 misdemeanor causes. You'll have no contact with the complaining witness, which is the On the Bend Oyster Bar and Lounge. You'll take DWI into education. You'll have ignition interlock for 1/2 of the probationary term, and you'll do victim impact panel live. One of your signatures, the one to the left, waives your appeal outside of the agreement, but the recommendations are that you be placed on community supervision for 3 years, that you have a drug and alcohol treatment evaluation, that you have community service hours, and then the state is going to agree and recommend that you have judgment satisfied on a DWI case under cause number 612617. Is that your understanding of the agreement, sir?
Yes, sir.
Counsel, is that your understanding as well?
It is, Judge.
I'm going to get out of share screen. Sir, I'm not bound by a plea bargain. I do not have to follow this. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
But if I do follow the plea bargain, then you lose your right to appeal. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
And that's true unless I grant you permission to appeal or unless certain motions are filed and ruled upon. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Counsel, any such rulings in this case?
No, Judge.
If I do not follow the plea bargain, I'll allow you to withdraw the plea and we'll proceed to trial as if this hearing never occurred. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
I'll note again, one of your signatures on the plea bargain waives your appeal. Are you a citizen of the United States?
Yes, sir.
If not, then a plea of guilty or no contest to the offense would have serious adverse effects on your immigration status. And I'll note that you certified on the court's admonishment that you are an American citizen. Counsel, do you believe that your client has a factual and rational understanding of the charge pending against him?
Yes, Judge, I do.
Do you believe he's been able to assist you in the defense?
Yes, he has.
Do you believe he's mentally competent to waive rights and enter a plea here today?
Yes, Judge, I do.
Sir, to the offenses listed on your indictment, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
No contest.
Do you understand that you can still be found guilty under a no contest plea?
Yes, sir.
Other than the plea bargain, did anyone promise you anything in exchange for your plea today?
No, sir.
Anyone force you or coerce you to plead today?
No, sir.
If you're going over this case with your attorney, do you believe that pleading here today is in your best interest?
Yes, sir.
Does the state have anything to offer to support the plea?
State Office States Exhibit 1.
And there's no objection to that, Judge.
It's admitted. I reviewed State's Exhibit 1 prior to getting on the record. Find that it is sufficient to support the plea. Sir, I find that your plea was freely, intelligently, and voluntarily made, that there was sufficient evidence to support the plea, and that you're mentally competent to enter into such a plea. Mr. Martinez, do you agree to waive the pre-sentence investigation report?
Yes, Judge, we do.
Is there any legal reason as to why your client cannot be sentenced today?
No, Judge, there's not.
There being no legal reason, in accordance with the agreement with the state, sir, I'm going to defer any finding of guilt at this time and place you on community supervision for a period of 3 years. There is a $1,500 fine. Taken in consideration are several cases. What I'm going to do is going to read you the cause numbers. I'll tell you the offense. If you plead true to those offenses, then I dismiss those offenses. Do you understand how we're going to proceed, Mr. Sines?
Yes, sir.
Give me just a minute.
I was going to ask you about 2 resisting appeal. I was going to ask you to plead true. And Judge, we do have one alteration to one of the terms that we'll get on the record.
Yes, sir. Let me get through this part of it first.
Yes, sir.
Look at it. All right, Mr. Signs, these are all county cause numbers. In cause number 553775, resisting arrest, and in cause number 571283, resisting arrest. How do you plead, true or not true, to those two offenses?
True.
Those are dismissed. And then in 553774, possession of marijuana. How do you plead, true or not true?
True.
That's dismissed. And then in 553773, unlawful carry of a weapon. How do you plead, true or not true?
True.
Those are dismissed as well. You'll have no contact with On the Bend Oyster Bar and Lounge. You'll have DWI Education. You will have VIP Live as well. You'll have Ignition Interlock for 1/2 of the community supervision time period. You'll have a TAP evaluation. You must follow recommendations. I'll give you 150 community service hours. The state will seek to have judgment satisfied on cause number 612617. Mr. Martinez, you said you had something else to address in regards to this.
Oh, yes, Judge. On those DWI conditions, so ignition interlock being half the term is usually done in misdemeanor offenses. Given that the term here is much longer, we've agreed to shorten that term to 6 months rather than half the term. Of course, Mr. Signs understands that if he doesn't behave himself in those 6 months, among other problems he could have, that could be extended.
All right, I'll do that. 6 months for the ignition interlock. But Mr. Martinez, correct, Mr. Signs, you have to be good. If you're not good on that, I can extend you on that ignition interlock. All right, Mr. Signs is a plea bargain case. I follow the plea bargain. So you do not have the court's permission to appeal. You do not have the right to appeal. I'm also noting you waived your appeal in the plea bargain agreement. I'm making a certification of this for the record, and I'll provide a copy of the certification to your attorney to provide to you. We're about ready to conclude the hearing. When we do, stay on Zoom, Mr. Signs, you're going to meet with our probation officer. She's going to go over the conditions of community supervision for you. Mr. Signs, you had a decent job down there, and it just doesn't make much sense for you to be breaking in a building just to steal some liquor and such like that. Also maybe indicates you have substance abuse issues, especially because I'm aware that you have a DWI as well too. You're a young man, you got a lot ahead of you. You need to kind of reassess where you're going with life. If you're getting pretty decent jobs like that, on the Riverwalk, you can use those jobs to actually do something for yourself. But if you're going to engage in behavior like this, you're just kind of throwing all that work away. Just giving you a little friendly advice there. All right, there being nothing else from either side, then this matter now is concluded, and we are in recess. I'm turning on